If you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, its tools and the opportunities they present, then why not visit betangel.com today and download a free trial.
So I'm dressed in my Glad rags today, as you can see. This is very unusual. Everybody's been commenting on how neat and tidy I look. But the reason that I'm doing that is because I am at XL in London for ICE. It's a gaming show that's run every year, and it's where everybody congregates to talk business in the gaming business. So let's go and have a look inside and see what we can find. I thought rather than catching the tube today, what I'd do is drive the car in. So I hope you appreciate the effort I took to drive that here and let everybody have a look at it. So you've got two main galleries. You get the north and the south rooms. This exhibition takes up both of those. It's absolutely massive. But if you actually look behind me here, this is the sports betting area. So this is dedicated to sports betting. You can see it's actually quite small, but this is where Betfair and a lot of similar companies like the Perform Group are present. But it actually takes up quite a tiny, small part of the entire exhibition. So it shows you how large the gaming industry is and how actually sports betting is just a niche within that industry. So behind me here we have the Perform Group. You'll probably know them as Running Ball or various other areas like that. I've done a couple of blog posts on it in the past. But these are the guys that provide in-play information. So when a goal's scored, or when something happens within a football match or other types of sports, these guys have scouts at the ground that will actually press a button on a device, upload it to their server, which then gets spread out. So when you see animations or you see live scores being updated, it's guys like Perform that perform that particular action. And here's the stand that I came for a meeting to this afternoon. Betfair are here this year, or Paddy Power Betfair, as you can see from the stand here, where we can talk about a number of things, including how we want to develop the product and take things forward this year. But Betfair haven't been here in previous years, curiously. I certainly haven't had the pleasure of being on their stand, although we have met here. And you tend to find that these exhibitions are a great place for people to get together and do all those meetings in one day, which is why I tend to come here each year. So I'm at the SAS stand here. These are the guys that provide the raw feeds from a lot of sports. So football, racing, golf, a number of different sports go via SAS. If you turn up at most major sports events, you'll see an SAS van parked around there somewhere, and they'll be transmitting the images back via satellite to some data provider or service provider like Sky or at the races, and then it comes to your home. Now obviously that takes a little bit of latency to get from wherever they're filming back to your home, so you'll always be at a disadvantage to people actually on course, either watching those pictures as they're produced or actually at the event itself. But nonetheless, SAS provide an important loop in the whole industry in terms of being the core provider of the raw feeds of a variety of different sports. One aspect of the industry that you may not be aware of is the white label side of the industry. There are a number of firms at the exhibition, and their entire role is to provide services to other people. So you may go onto a website, such as a football club or a particular industry vertical, and what they're actually doing is basically skinning the website with their brand, but the actual website itself is being run and managed by another company. Every company tends to do that nowadays, especially with access to the exchange and their own sportsbook. If you've got a good risk management system, you may as well push that out to other people and white label it. And by white labeling, what we mean is somebody else runs the back end and somebody else just puts a brand on the front. And those sort of firms are very dominant at exhibitions like this. So BetRadar, or BetRadar, you could perhaps call it, is a company that provides a range of services in a similar way to others. You find there's whole layers of companies here providing services that end up as things that you will see. So these guys again provide information live from individual sports events. They'll upload those and represent those graphically to either bookmakers as risk management systems, or you may have even seen them with bookmakers or exchanges in terms of graphical representations of what's going on in the sport. But another slice of the industry is right behind us here. So there are a number of exhibitors here. We have the PMU, the Paris Mutual, and this is a pool-based system. So over here we have Colossus Bets, we have PMU here, and a number of different companies all pitching for a number of business. Now this is predominantly a business-to-business type show, but obviously there's interest from the consumer side as well. But obviously all of these companies want to have a little bit of your dosh. They all think that they're the best solution for that, and the PMU are here obviously to promote French racing, which is quite nice to see. But yeah, a number of different types of companies turn up at these shows. So one other aspect of the industry that you may be aware of is since the advent of online gaming, there's been a propensity for people to move business offshore. Now that depends upon tax and legislation and so on and so forth, but it's still a thriving area. So there is actually a part of this exhibition devoted to that. We have Alderney and Malta behind us, and they're obviously trying to encourage these industries into those areas for economic reasons. But yeah, it's another aspect of the industry that you may not be so familiar with. So you see a lot of negative press about FOBTs and so on and so forth. But in fact, if you actually look at the gaming industry, especially at this exhibition, you see a massive dominance of traditional casino type products and fruit machines and so on. And the industry is vast for it. And the floor is absolutely dominated by companies pushing and selling these types of products. But it is amazing. If you come here, you'll see that 90% of the exhibition is related to it, directly or indirectly. Well, it's nice to see that somebody gets the message here, because here it says gambling equals trading, or does trading equal gambling? I think it's the other way around. Anyway, I'm off to speak to these guys to find out what they're talking about, but it's great to see that we are finally being acknowledged by the industry. So I think one of the funny things about coming to an exhibition like this is you see massive stands like this. They must have cost an absolute fortune to build these stands, and I have no idea who they are. I really don't know. All I know is that they've got some pretty graphics, massive LED displays, and some pretty women at the front. But other than that, I know nothing about SB Tech. I imagine if I inquire, I will learn a bit more, but they're definitely not related to what we do. But these sort of stands dominate exhibitions like this. Sorry. That's all right.